I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review. This is another paid request, this time from Benny Legend. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, topics, commentaries, reviews, re-reviews, randomness, out of the blueness, whatever, feel free to send them either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for the 1996 film The Fan. I think the reason this is a green cover is, which you can't tell from the lighting, I think it's because long ago the case was busted. I just changed it with another case. It just happened to be a green one. There's no features on here because when this film came out, it was a big box office bomb. And I don't know why it cost so much money. I really do not. Because it costs around $55 million. Why? This film did not need to cost $55 million. It's a thriller. I don't know if you want to call it psychological, but it's a thriller where Robert De Niro is a big baseball fan. He's absolutely obsessed with it. He's a guy who just lives and breathes and shits out baseballs, not literally, and he tries to hang out with his son, but then he gets angry with his son, and you tell this guy's deranged. The ex-wife wants nothing to do with him, files a restraining order against him. He's a guy who sells hunting knives. He's not doing well. He's fired. And he's obsessed with the San Francisco Giants. He's obsessed with their new player that they got from another team, the $40 million Bobby Rayburn, played by Wesley Snipes. And Wesley Snipes, this is a time when he was very going up the radar of Hollywood, because you had White Men Can't Jump, you had Demolition Man, you had Passenger 57, that he was in films like Murder 1600. 2 years later, he would be in Blade. And I think both these guys did a good job. My Neighbor's Roosters, they feel the same way. The reason this film works is because of these two guys. I think they do a really nice job with it. I know some people say Robert De Niro goes a bit over the top, but I would say I like his role here more than Cape Fear. And I like Cape Fear, but Cape Fear's performance does seem a bit like funny psycho. If I want Robert De Niro more sinister psycho, I think he does better here as a sinister psycho, that he doesn't come off as moments of laughable like Cape Fear. Again, I like Cape Fear, but I'll say I like this more. For Robert De Niro's Psycho movie, I like this film more. Tony Scott's direction, may rest in peace. I'm a big Tony Scott fan. Beverly Hills Cop 2, Days of Thunder, Deja Vu, Take the Pill 1, 2, 3, Man on Fire, Crimson Tide, Enemy of the State. Big fan of him as director. Definitely my top 10 favorite directors. I like a lot of his work. Not all. I did not care for Domino. I did not care for The Hunger, among a few others. But for most of it, his last film, Unstoppable, with Denzel Washington, I liked. And this is nice to see Tony Scott try to do something a bit different. Because there's not a lot of times you got to do a thriller. And yeah, there's baseball as a part of it, but it's more about the story. Especially between these two characters. And the supporting cast, like, if you blink, you'll miss it. Jack Black is in the movie for like 10 seconds. Where you have this, radio, Alan Barkin, radio personality, and like a technician in the back is Jack Black. John Leguizamo plays Wesley Snipes' manager. I thought Leguizamo did a good job. Charlie Hallahan from John Carpenter's The Thing. He's in here for a few minutes as a guy who used to know Robert De Niro. He doesn't show up till like the third act. Benicio Del Toro's in the film as another baseball player who has a bit of a rivalry with Wesley Snipes' character. This actor named Chris Mulkey, who I've seen, he was in The Hidden, Runaway, Ghost in the Machine. He appears in a little bit as the new boyfriend, husband of the ex-wife. And she wants nothing to do with Robert De Niro's character because he's a crazy motherfucker. And I gotta also mention the score by Hans Zimmer. Easily one of Hans Zimmer's most underrated scores. I love the score to this film, especially in the opening credits. And also this moment here, when this exchange happens, sort of the finale of Robert De Niro's character. Hans Zimmer did a great job because it was different from his other scores. It didn't feel like the score to Broken Arrow and Black Rain, which I love those scores, especially Broken Arrow. It was still its own thing, but yet it works with the film. One nitpick I will say, I like Nine Inch Nails. I like the band. They use quite a bit of them in this, and it doesn't quite work. Especially the song Closer. Because, like, there's a point where Robert De Niro is chasing Wesley Snipes' kid. And if you know the song Closer, the lyrics like, I'm gonna fuck you like an animal. You don't have that lyric happen when Robert De Niro is chasing Wesley Snipes' kid. I'm gonna fuck you. I'm like, is Robert De Niro gonna fuck him? Like an animal? They use Nine Inch Nails like 4 or 5 times throughout the film. I don't think it was appropriate. I don't think it worked. And I like the song. Like, an appropriate usage is the instrumental version at the beginning of 7. The beginning of 7, it's a very creepy... Like, use the instrumental type of Nine Inch Nails, if that's the case. Don't use the lyrics. I'm gonna fuck you like this. I think they also use that when, spoiler alert, spoilers, Robert De Niro kills Benicio Del Toro in the shower. I swear that also, I'm going to... Is Robert De Niro going to fuck everybody? Did he fuck... Is that what he is? I don't think that worked. That didn't need to be in the movie. Now, Robert De Niro, he's definitely one of his more deranged characters, and I would say one of the best of it. Again, a lot of people talk about Cape Fear. Again, I would say I like this more because this felt less silly, and it felt more like if he was this way in Cape Fear, I think it would work better. He seemed more deranged in this one. While in Cape Fear is much bigger. Come out, wherever you are. You know, with the accent and bellowing in the theater. Here, he just seemed more fucking out of it. Attaboy, come on, Bobby. Attaboy, bring us all the way, Bobby. And you just see that he's a guy just simmering, ready to explode. Like when he's out selling his knives, and one guy's asked about kayaks. See Robert De Niro give this look like, kayaks. I'm selling knives. You ask me about fucking kayaks. What the fuck is your problem, huh? How about you take kayak, you stick it up your fucking ass. Or he takes his son out to the game, and while driving, oh, well, my friend's dad said this. Well, you know what? Your friend's dad, he takes it up the ass. And it's like, it's kind of funny, but it's still the way he says it, like, okay, yeah, this guy it's fucking cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And, like, he's trying to take his son to the game, but he's got to answer this phone call, or he's got to get to this meeting, so he's trying to go back and forth, and there's this old lady staring at them, and he's like, what the fuck is your problem, lady? And even later, when he left the kid there to do his job, and then he failed at that, and then the kid is gone, then he goes back, and the kid's mom's like, get out of here, get out of here, and he forces himself through the house and forces himself into the room, and you hear outside the mom screaming, call the cops, call the cops. And just how fucked up Robert De Niro's character is, where he's like, hey, I got you your favorite pizza, and it's not, it's like pepperoni mushroom, and the kid's like, well, I don't like mushrooms. Well, just take them off. So even that little tidbit shows you that this guy, he doesn't even know his kid's favorite pizza. Like, this guy's just fucking out there, he's out of it. And there's that part of me that wondered, is there a notion to try to make him more likable? And if that's the case, have him maybe like he treats his son like a teen. We still kind of try, but none of this ill will against his son, but then everybody else. But you know what? I'm not sure if the intention is to make that character at all sympathetic or you feel sorry for. Like Falling Down. Like Falling Down, I felt sorry for Michael Douglas's character. I don't think that was supposed to be the case with this. I think it was to show that this guy was psycho. And there's nothing wrong with that. And My Neighbor's Roosters feel the same way. He's like, yeah, nothing wrong with that. And then Wesley Snipes, I will say I wish Wesley Snipes had a bit more to do. It's definitely more De Niro's movie, because Wesley Snipes, I mean, he appears from time to time in the first half, where he gets on the team, Benicio Del Toro took his number, and he feels more comfortable with the 11 number, and there's some animosity with that. After a first decent game, he's in a slump, and people are booing him, except De Niro. De Niro's the only one that praises him. Everyone's booing him, and he's feeling the pressure. And I think John Leguizamo did a good job, because he's a manager you would want, who is actually pretty friendly with you. This guy here. I thought, Tony Scott had a slick looking movie, especially during the finale in the rain. I don't think some have said he got a bit too over stylized with the movie. I thought it worked with the subject at hand, at least in my opinion. As Wesley Snipes doesn't have a bit more, he has a bit more meat to chew on character-wise, not until the second half of the movie. And I will say, that's another little nitpick. I don't know if this film needed to be almost 2 hours long. I do think there's about maybe 15 minutes maybe 10 minutes you could shave off the running time. To improve the pacing a little bit. Because there are times where it feels a little bit redundant, like you get what's going on with Robert De Niro. Like with him selling the knives, like you get that he's not doing well selling knives. You said with some of this other stuff, like you kind of get it. Now you're just kind of overshooting that angle, or that trying to drill that point a bit too much into the viewer. And then the second half, Wesley Snipes starts playing well. This is after De Niro found Benicio Del Toro, killed him. and then saved Wesley Snipes' kid from drowning. And Robert De Niro makes a mistake of asking Wesley Snipes, "Hey, you're playing better. How did that happen?" "I stopped caring." "Wait, what?" "Well, the only person you should play for is yourself. You're the same person whether you're hidden or you're not. And I stopped caring. I mean, we're not curing cancer. We're playing a game." Which is a mature way of thinking, in the fact of, yes, that does happen a lot, where you do look at the bigger picture and you realize that, you try to be perfectionist, whether in sports or whatever, but there's a lot more to life than that. Life of Wesley, his son, things of that nature. And Robert De Niro doesn't like that. He doesn't like that at all. Just to him, that's where you get the two opposites. Wesley Snipes realizes there's more to life. There's his family, his son. There's more to life than the game. While De Niro, it's only the game. I mean, he has a layer almost straight out of Jigsaw with all this baseball paraphernalia and bobbleheads and everything that would make Jigsaw scared. And you get to the third act where he's kidnapped Wesley Snipes' kid and calls him, "Every time they think of you, they don't think of me. I want you to hit a home run for me. Now do you care?" And then you get to the game at the end. And like I said, while, yeah, there are issues, I think they used Nine Inch Nails. I like the band, but they used it a bit too much, and at times it's inappropriate. Again, if you used the instrumental, that was fine, but the "I wanna fuck you," like during the shower bit where he kills Del Toro, again, when he's chasing the little kid, was his life's kid. I like this song doesn't work. These lyrics do not work. I don't know what the intention of that was. And again, the pacing, like, again, it's about 10-15 minutes you could shave off it. But I do think it's a slick-looking movie. These two do a really nice job in their roles. They make the film. They make the film watchable. More than watchable. It's not a film I watch a lot, and I don't really know why. So it's funny, like, I'm not giving a lot of flaws, because I don't find a lot of flaws in the film, but it's not like a film that is one of the best ever. I don't quite know why. I don't feel that way. But it's fairly solid for what it needed to be. Maybe that's the thing. It goes to the level it wants to be. It doesn't. How do I put this? So, okay, speaking of sports, you go to a level, or you go even more so, and you're wonderful, you're terrific, you're over the moon, you did a wonderful job. Oh wow, I expected this, but you gave us this, and no, you expect this. It kind of gives you what you expect, nothing more. For me, nothing less. And so it's nothing that is memorable, but for what it's trying to do, it definitely more than decent, more than its 5.9 on IMDb. I don't think it deserves that low of a rating, not even close. And I like the song at the end, "Letting Go" by Terrence D'Arby, and Hans Zimmer did the music. Terrence D'Arby saying it. I like that song, "Letting Go." And like I said, Hans Zimmer's score, I think, was rather well done. Definitely one of the best parts of the movie. And you get to see Robert De Niro be a psycho again, and I thought he did a nice job. And the background of baseball, even if you're not into baseball, like I'm not into baseball, but still, the baseball scenes went fast enough, and it's part of the story of this obsessive fan and how that can go up shit creek really, really quick, really, really fast. And this is a story I could see happening. Honestly, quite a few times I could see this happening. We've seen this happen, and let's be honest, we've seen this happen multiple times, where you have the obsessive fan that just, you're wondering why the hell did they do this, and how could it be this crazy, how could it be this insane? That's why when some reviewers go, oh, this is over the top, this is unrealistic, I'm like, I don't find it as unrealistic as people make it out to be. With how crazy we've seen some people fucking be over, whether it be movies or whether it be other inconsequential stuff. No, I don't find it that unrealistic at all. I definitely like this more than the previous film called The Fan with Michael Biehn from the 80s. Because that film I found rather boring. That's not a remake of this. I mean, that's about an obsessive fan, but that was about some lady who was, I forget if she was a writer or an actress, I forget. Because I thought it was forgettable and boring. That film I didn't care for. This one I thought was slickly directed, although, I mean, if you didn't tell me this was Tony Scott, I would not have gathered that Tony Scott had done it. Because then, it's not really the type of film he does. He's usually action. I did Enemy of the State, Days of Thunder, even bits of True Romance, things of that nature. But yeah, it was interesting to see him do something different. I think Wesley Snipes, he was likable in the role. Robert De Niro, I thought he did a nice job. He sold his psycho stance fairly well. And overall, I like The Fan. I think it's not that bad of a film. It's not as bad of a film as Reputation says it is. I don't know why it cost that much money to make. It's, I don't see 55 million on the screen. I mean, maybe the Tony Scott, Wesley Snipes, maybe they got big paychecks, and that took most of the budget, maybe. But this was a big bomb in 1996, because that was the time we had Independence Day and Twister, quite a bit of these big films, and this just could not compete with those. I mean, you put this with Independence Day and Twister and all these other big movies, it can't compete. It can't compete, but, I don't think it was 30-some% on Rotten Tomatoes? I don't think it was that bad. I don't see how it's that bad. Maybe people thought it was, I guess they thought it was typical. I mean, yes and no. I mean, it's nothing, I would say, completely original, but I think what it did fairly well with a good cast, competent director, and good music. I mean, other than, inappropriate usage of Nine Inch Nails. But yeah, I like it. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.